Hey there, my name is Tepo and I build apps for fun. One of the apps that I'm currently building right now is an affirmation app that is based on user goals. So users put in their goals and then they get affirmations targeted towards their goals. And I've launched the first version on the App Store and Play Store. In this video, I'll be talking about building version 2 for my app, the things that I went through, the decisions that I had to make, the product decisions that I had to make, the business decisions that I had to make. I haven't launched it yet, but I'll be just going over everything. So version 1 was very simple. Version 1 was my basic app. The main function of version 1 was to get the look and feel of the review process of both stores, because I knew that I can't make an app that is very difficult and very bloated in terms of features, as the review process might discourage me from building in future. So I built a simple affirmation app that uses a JSON file with very simple affirmations. So version 2, I decided to add new features, basically 2 new features. So the first feature is the audio affirmation feature. So I love affirmations and I love listening to affirmations when I'm working, but most of the affirmations that I'm listening to are very generic and they're very broad. So I decided it would be good if the affirmations that I'm listening to are completely directed towards my goals and even have my name when saying the affirmations. So the feature was very simple. I just had to be able to have a voice or a stream that plays in affirmations with a voice and soothing music to make the experience better. So the first decision that I had to make was, what AI model am I going to use? So to generate the affirmations, I already use OpenAI API, which is very simple to implement. And after using that agent, I have the affirmations. Now I'm going to need a text-to-speech. So for text-to-speech, I'm using AWS Poly. Yes, I'm using AWS Poly. Initially, I was using OpenAI TTS, which is more expensive, but AWS Poly is quite basic, but it does what it needs to do. So AWS Poly takes the affirmations that are generated by OpenAI, the affirmations agent, and it generates audio for that. And then once I have that audio, I will have to just piece in together the audio with the music. For now, I'm using one audio for the music, which is very soothing. And how this all comes together in terms of the backend experience. When a user creates a goal, when a user uses our app and creates a goal, we create 3 audios for that goal. So currently that's what I have for the MVP. In future, maybe I might have different voices, different length of affirmations for them to listen to. And I might even have, different music as well, different soothing music as well, depending on the feedback I'm going to get in this next campaign and the next rollouts I'm going to do. And for the next feature, I implemented a push notification service. So in the old app, the push notification was not there, but it was very simple. So what I would do is I would take the goal and I would schedule 14 days in advance so that the user can receive affirmations every morning based on their goals. But as you can see, that is very inefficient, because I was using a AWS DynamoDB table to store notifications essentially, and that was horrible. And I wanted to make something so big. I wanted to make a push notification architecture that was so big and so awesome with SQS, with SQS queues, would be dead letter queues as well, to have workers that pull messages from the SQS queues and be able to push those notifications over to APN or FCM, and have other workers that find what notifications do we need to send out for the day. That is so big and that is a cool feature to build, but for a one-person team and for MVP, it's going to discourage me. It's going to take me a lot of time to build and test. So I came up with a new feature. So what I'm going to do is, in our DynamoDB table, we have all the goals of the users, right? So we're going to have a field of when last did we send a notification. And we are just going to have a worker every day that looks at each goal. We're going to maybe use a scan operation on the DynamoDB table, and maybe use our GSI with filtering for the field I just mentioned to save costs should we reach millions or hundreds of thousands of users. And from there, we're just going to be able to take all those and see what affirmations, notifications do we need to send, and then we just send them out. So for this version 2, I'm thinking of just having that essentially and not doing too much. And then the final feature that I have was in-app purchases. So I cannot go away from in-app purchases. The thing that made me to develop iPhone apps in the first place was in-app purchases. It's very seamless. It's an easy way to make money as a developer compared to building from scratch on the internet and building with Lemon Squeezy and building with Paddle, all these different things. Their ecosystem for mobile apps is very great, as you do know. So for the subscriptions, I used Revenue Cat, and if I'm being completely honest, I hard coded the entire feature. I have vibe coded the entire feature. I don't know what essentially is happening, but with my experience from implementing payment integrations with SaaS, web SaaS, I have a feeling of what happens. And I tested the application on my physical device and everything is working. It's really fine. The test sandbox works. I was able to subscribe and I was able to move on. So what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be building a webhook to be able to populate some data on a DynamoDB table to let us know if the user is subscribed or not, right? But for Apple, it's not too much. And I'm guessing I'm going to have to test this feature out on Android because I just built this for Android. I did not build for Apple, right? And building for Revenue Cat was not that hard. I literally just followed everything that Cursor told me to. He told me to fill in told me about product entitlements, building products in App Store Connect, the paid agreements. I had to go through a lot of hurdles to be able to get a working subscription in the app and the physical device, right? So right now, I wouldn't say everything is working because we're using local stack for everything. For the DynamoDB, we're using local stack for EventBridge. Basically, everything is locally right now as I learned my lesson from spending so much money on AWS on the dev environment. So what's next? What's next is I'm going to be putting all these things together. I'm going to be writing some Terraform code and then I'm going to be putting everything together. But before I do that, I'm probably going to have to finish up the subscriptions for Android, test them out, and possibly test the app out on Android as well before I integrate everything from end to end. Thank you for listening to this video. It's been fun sharing my journey on what I've been doing this past weekend, and happy coding. I hope that you guys follow, you like, and you share your journey on what you guys are building, and you ask me some questions.